Alrighty, back again. Charlie Beer here making a video. I'm an undergraduate marketing major with a BIA minor from the University of Denver. And for this session, I went to see the presentation with the NASA astronauts who are going on the next trip to the moon. Specifically, it was the Artemis 2 mission that they're undergoing. And they kind of talked about how this is like the first step in us going to Mars, and I thought it was awesome to hear that because we always talk, like especially with Elon Musk always being in the news, it's constantly talking about like, oh, people going and living on Mars and stuff. But hearing not just firsthand account of like people who understand what they're talking about, but the actual people who might be going on that trip someday, to talk about it and kind of break it down in a way that I could understand was really awesome to hear. This will be the first time in the last 50 years that we've sent people into deep space and especially to the moon, which is one of those kind of mythical locations we talk about, but we don't ever really go to or do anything with. It's just kind of up there. And so going and interacting with that is going to be really cool. This mission, the Artemis 2 mission, is sending four astronauts, Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen on a groundbreaking journey around the moon. It's going to be crazy to see that happen in real time, especially since I got to see them in person and interact with them on a more direct level. It'll really make it that much cooler to see them then go up into space and actually do something. And I think it's going to be really cool to see. Um, it's kind of like what they described it as constantly throughout the presentation is that this is not just a trip into deep space. It's not just us going back to the moon. It's really the first step in us actually making it to Mars and putting people on Mars, establishing somewhat of a situation there where we can expand our reach as humans to other planets. And I think that's really crazy to hear that it might be possible, maybe not in my generation, but within the next few generations that we will be moving to another planet. It is something that I really wasn't expecting to hear that directly. Um, and it kind of also described to me that like the problem isn't that it's like some mythical far off location. Like all of the things we have are achievable. You just have to put all those tools together and actually expand to those reaches. So I think that's going to be something that's really exciting to see. Part of what was really interesting about their talk is that they kind of broke down what it was to go into space and like actually experience those things because they were two of them, three of them were there. It was Christina, um, who else? It was Christina, Reed, and Jeremy were there. And Victor was not available. He's actually helping pick the next generation of astronauts up in different part of Texas where they're doing like the training and stuff right now, and he's one of the instructors there, so he couldn't be here. But the other three were here, and Jeremy and Christina had both been to the International Space Station before, so they were kind of breaking us through, breaking down their experiences to us, which was really interesting because not only have I not really experienced much astronaut information because we haven't, as much as we're sending people to the International Space Station, we're not like it's not big news anymore. It's kind of fallen out of the same level that like when we were sending man on the moon for the first time and stuff like that. It's not that same talked about level. And so hearing their firsthand experiences of going there, actually doing stuff in space, experiencing the spacewalks and stuff, and then coming back and now getting to go to the moon, which is something again we haven't done in the last 50 years is crazy. What really blew my mind is that it's only 9 total days that they're in space doing anything up there. Like they're doing so much the entire time, like basically 9 days of work the entire time that they are awake and able to move around. They're constantly testing all the machinery to make sure that deep space isn't going to be a problem for us when we do try and get to Mars. But it's like an insane amount of work that they're doing over the course of 9 days as just the first step to maybe 50 other steps we have to take before we actually can step foot on Mars and put people there for the first time. Um, One thing I found cool that I hadn't really thought about, but obviously makes sense now, is that they go undergo like a full communications blackout when they're on the other side of the moon because the moon is so massive that our waves can't get through it, get around it. They can't reach Earth, so they can't communicate with ground control and have that connection. So it's basically like those four. are going to be completely on their own for 45 minutes in the vacuum of space, which is something that I found like terrifying when I heard them say that. And I really thought it was interesting. I hope I get to see soon that we make it to the moon safely and everything goes well on this mission, and I can't wait for that to happen now. It kind of put like a new light on it for me because as much as astronauts have been cool to me in the past, this is kind of like that next step beyond that where I kind of experienced how firsthand how awesome it is that they're doing it.